Hello friends and welcome to you this new course. This course we will talk about a subject called Postgres Pro. Postgres Pro is a leap forward for our regular PostgreSQL server that we've been dealing all over the past years. Postgres Pro deals with the difficulties that we've been facing when we are doing the PostgreSQL basic server. Such difficulties like when we are doing the backup, when we are doing the replication, the incremental backup, because when we were dealing with the previous structure of the PostgreSQL server, we were facing difficulties when we do the configuration of the backup. We were of the master, of the slots, of the replica server, of even all these configurations for the backup, for the replica, for the restore, even if we were aiming to do some incremental backup. Also we were facing some difficulties when we were doing the configuration. In general, most of the errors that happen in our backup process happens because of this difficulty of nailing the correct configuration for the backup process, for the restore process, for the incremental backup. So nailing such difficult configuration was always the reason behind the fail of the backup when we are using the PostgreSQL server, the basic PostgreSQL server that we've been using over the past years. Postgres Pro is a new structure that is meant to deal with such difficulties, to make the process more efficient and also easy to use, more easy to use for any developer who are dealing with the PostgreSQL or the Postgres server. There are a few things we will talk about, and I will mention to you during the course time. One of these things, let's start with, is that Postgres Pro have different versions. Have actually three versions: the standard, the enterprise, and the vanilla. Now the difference between the standard one is almost free, while the enterprise and the vanilla versions are paid versions. But also there is some limitations when we use the standard. The standard comes for only a single instance, which means you can create a single instance, a single cluster, which contains, of course, you could contain multiple databases, but still it's a single instance. Now, if you are a big corporate and you have your servers are scattered in different sites, maybe in different countries, then standard wouldn't be your perfect choice. You need to upgrade to the enterprise, Postgres Pro Enterprise, which can support multiple instances of clusters. Now, as for the highest level, which is the Postgres Pro Vanilla, the vanilla supports one very advanced feature, which is the p-track, which is called the p-track. Now the p-track is a kind of synchronous backup. So whatever happened in the master, immediately it's been replicated to the replica server or to the other server. So these are the differences between the standard, the enterprise, and the vanilla. Now the vanilla also support multiple instances as well. So these are the ones that are available for the Postgres Pro. Now we will talk, as I have said, we will select the standard, which supports a single instance. We will see how to install it, how to run, how to create the database. Then we will see, we will apply a few things such as the firewall, the configuration of the server. Is there any differences between this one and the Postgres basic one that we've been dealing over the years? What about the client HBA com file? Is there any differences? So we will see if there be any changes or any things are not the same as we have been used to do with the PostgreSQL server. There are now one of the most important features of the Postgres Pro, as I have said, it's the backup. It's the backup where we can use now the PG Pro backup utility, which is a very powerful utility that will make the database developer life much easier, because it can do the backup, the restore, and as well as the incremental backup all together in one place. So this is a very beautiful feature when you are going to use the Postgres Pro. Now remember that this utility works only with the Postgres Pro. It doesn't support the PostgreSQL that we've been dealing with over the past years. So I will focus in this course on what I have said so far. So the installation, the configuration, and also how we can do the implement the PG Pro backup utility for the backup, restore, and the incremental backup. The other things also Postgres Pro supports, which are also a very powerful things, which is the PG activity that controls every activity goes through your server. By monitoring these activities, you can assign, or you can put your finger on which activity actually is like a deadlock or causing some delay in your server performance. So PG activity is also a very powerful utility that could use with the Postgres Pro. We won't deal with it in this course, most likely in the next course. PG Bouncer also, which is, as you know, pooling. For pooling is one of the most important features that will enhance the performance of your server. We will talk about it, and we'll see. Now everything we will do practically. We will run our things all in our servers. So in our Postgres server, we will run everything in here, so we can see practically how we can implement everything in here. Also the partitioning of the tables, the sharding of the databases, these all will be in another, the security, the encryption, and the socket. This will be also in another course. But for this course, we will focus on these fields: the installation, configuration, running, creating the database, and then doing the backup, replica, and the incremental backup. So that's what we're going to do with this server. I hope you will get good knowledge from this server. I thank you so much, and good day. Bye bye.